There's a kind of power that doesn't shout, doesn't demand attention, yet it turns every head in the room. It's the power of presence, quiet, steady, magnetic. The kind of energy that makes people stop and feel something without understanding why. This is the power of high-value, mature woman. She doesn't chase, she attracts. She doesn't beg, she decides. Her strength isn't in how loudly she speaks, but in how deeply she understands her worth. Most people search for attraction in looks, status, or charm, but real attraction, the kind that lasts, comes from depth. From the calm confidence of someone who doesn't need to prove anything. And when a woman reaches that level of self-awareness, when her peace can't be disturbed, when her emotions no longer control her, she becomes irresistible in a way that's rare and unforgettable. This video is a journey into that transformation, because the truth is, becoming a high-value woman is not about changing who you are. It's about remembering what you've always been. Beneath the noise, beneath the expectations, beneath the moments you doubted yourself, there's a version of you that's unshakable. Watch till the end, because by the time you finish this message, you will see how the smallest shifts in your mindset can create the kind of energy that changes everything, from your relationships to your peace to the way the world sees you. That's the reward waiting for you, complete inner control and the kind of confidence that can't be taken away. Let's start here with the essence of value. Being a high value has nothing to do with perfection. It's not about being flawless or admired or constantly strong. It's about alignment. It's when your thoughts, your words, and your actions finally move in the same direction, towards self-respect. It's when you stop living for validation and start living from conviction. When your peace becomes more important than people's opinions, that's when true value begins. A high-value woman doesn't chase the world's attention. She commands it without trying. She walks with the awareness that her time, her emotions, and her energy are sacred. She knows that attention is cheap, but respect is earned. And the way you earn it is by knowing your worth first. You can't expect the world to value what you constantly undervalue in yourself. The psychology behind her power is simple. People are drawn to what they can't easily understand. When you stop explaining yourself, stop justifying your emotions, and stop needing to be seen, your silence becomes your strength. It triggers curiosity, respect, and even admiration. Because emotional maturity is magnetic. When you no longer react to every situation, you communicate one message. I am in control of myself, and that's rare in a world where everyone is easily moved by chaos. There's beauty in restraint, in choosing peace over proving a point, in choosing stillness over attention. When a woman learns to master her inner world, everything outside of her starts to align naturally. She stops chasing and starts attracting, not because she's playing a game, but because her energy speaks louder than words ever could. Understand this. High value doesn't mean cold. It means selective. It means choosing where your warmth goes and who truly deserves it. It means not pouring love into people who drain your spirit. It means not explaining your worth to those who refuse to see it. The mature woman learns to love deeply but wisely. She knows that not everyone is meant to sit at her table, and that's not pride, that's peace. True maturity begins the moment you stop fighting for attention and start focusing on growth. You no longer need others to confirm your greatness because you've already felt it within. You don't need validation when you live in alignment with your value. The woman who embodies this truth becomes irresistible not for what she shows, but for what she holds back. Her peace, her mystery, her quiet confidence. So stay with this message till the end, because what you'll discover isn't just how to become more attractive, it's how to become untouchable. When you stop reacting, when you start choosing your energy carefully, when you let silence speak louder than noise, you'll begin to see that the world bends toward your calm, not your chaos. The essence of a high-value woman is peace. Peace that can't be disturbed, confidence that can't be shaken, and self-respect that can't be bought. That's what makes her truly irresistible. The hidden power within every woman carries a quiet force inside her. A power that doesn't need to compete or shout to be noticed. It's a power that was never lost, only buried under years of doubt, expectations, and noise from the world. The moment she stops running from herself and starts listening to her own voice, that hidden strength begins to rise. It doesn't come from anyone's approval. It comes from deep acceptance, the realization that she has always been enough. The truth is, many women forget who they are because they've spent too long trying to become what others wanted them to be. They chase validation, affection, and belonging, hoping someone will finally see their worth. But the day she stops searching for power outside and turns inward, everything changes. She begins to see that her true beauty is not in her appearance, but in her energy. Calm, composed, and certain. Psychologically, the most powerful people in the world are those who know themselves. They no longer depend on the opinions of others to define their identity. When a woman reaches that state, she becomes unshakable. Her emotions no longer control her. She controls them. Her happiness no longer depends on who stays or who leaves. It comes from who she's becoming. That inner shift makes her presence feel magnetic because people can sense peace and they crave it. This hidden power is not about dominance or pride. It's about balance. It's the gentle confidence that says, I don't need to prove my worth. I live it. When she walks into a room, she doesn't need attention. She carries energy that naturally draws it. She no longer chases love or acceptance because she embodies both. When a woman connects with this power, she becomes aligned with her purpose. She attracts people, opportunities, and experiences that match her energy. Nothing forced, nothing begged for. Only what flows naturally toward her calm strength. That is the hidden power within every woman. Quiet certainty that she already possesses everything she's been seeking. Breaking free from validation, one of the most powerful moments in a woman's life, is when she realizes she no longer needs anyone's approval to feel whole. That moment changes everything. Because as long as you live for validation, you give others control over your peace. You start adjusting your words, your choices, even your personality just to be accepted. But the truth is, the people who truly value you don't need you to perform. They need you to be real. Go. Seeking validation is like chasing a moving target. No matter how much you do, it's never enough. The compliments feel good for a moment, but the emptiness returns when the noise fades. That's because validation from others can never replace validation from within. It's a temporary fix for a permanent void. The more you depend on it, the more you lose your sense of self. Psychology teaches that people who constantly seek approval are driven by fear. The fear of rejection, of being unseen, of not being enough. But once you face that fear and choose to stand alone, something incredible happens. The opinions that used to control you begin to lose their power. You stop needing to prove your worth because you finally know it. That's when you start living freely, without the pressure to please, without the fear of being misunderstood. A high-value woman understands that not everyone will like her, and she's perfectly at peace with that. She doesn't shrink herself to make others comfortable. She doesn't explain her boundaries or apologize for her standards. Her worth isn't up for debate. It's something she carries within her, quietly and confidently. When you stop chasing validation, you start attracting respect. You begin to radiate an energy that says, I am enough as I am. And people feel it. They may not understand it, but they are drawn to it. Because in a world full of people seeking attention, a woman who moves with self-certainty becomes unforgettable. A habit has one: emotional self-control. Emotional self-control is the foundation of every high-value woman's strength. It's what separates reaction from response, from clarity, and weakness from wisdom. When you learn to master your emotions, you stop being controlled by the world around you. You no longer let anger, fear, or disappointment dictate your actions. Instead, you move with calm precision, understanding that peace is more powerful than any reaction. In moments of conflict or pressure, most people lose themselves. They say things they regret, make decisions from pain, and destroy their peace for temporary satisfaction. But a woman with emotional control does the opposite. She pauses, she breathes, she observes before she speaks. That pause is her power. is her power. It's the space where clarity lives, where strength is born. Psychologically, people who control their emotions gain authority in every situation. They appear composed, confident, and trustworthy because they don't allow external chaos to shake their internal balance. When you don't react instantly, you send a clear message. Nothing outside of me has power over me. That kind of control creates an aura of mystery and respect that words can't achieve. A mature woman understands that emotions are temporary, but the consequences of her reactions can last a lifetime. So she chooses her peace over proving a point. She lets silence speak where anger used to. She lets calmness respond where frustration once ruled. This self-mastery doesn't mean she suppresses emotions. It means she owns them. She allows herself to feel, but never to fall apart. When you reach this level of control, your presence becomes grounding. People feel safe around you. They trust your energy because it's stable. That's why emotional self-control is irresistible. It's rare. In a world full of noise, a calm mind stands out like a flame in the dark. The woman who has learned to control herself has already conquered the hardest battle, the one within. Habit hash 2 quiet confidence. Quiet confidence is the kind of power that doesn't need attention, yet it commands it effortless. It's not about walking into a room and demanding to be noticed. It's about carrying an energy that makes people stop and listen without a single word spoken. This kind of confidence comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you will never settle for. It's the strength of certainty wrapped in calmness. A woman with quiet confidence doesn't compare herself to others. She doesn't measure her worth by likes, comments, or validation. She knows that real confidence isn't about being seen. It's about being sure of your direction, your values, and your peace. She moves through life with purpose, not performance. And that's what makes her so magnetic. Psychologically, confidence built on noise is fragile. It needs constant praise to survive. But quiet confidence is built on awareness, the kind that grows in solitude, through reflection, through challenges, through silence. It's the kind of confidence that doesn't crumble when criticized or questioned. It stands firm because it was never built on others' opinions in the first place. When a woman walks with quiet confidence, she becomes unpredictable in the best way. People can't read her easily, and that mystery draws them closer. She doesn't need to prove her intelligence, beauty, or strength. Her energy speaks it all. There's no competition, no insecurity, only grace. This kind of confidence changes how you speak, how you move, how you handle life. You no longer rush to defend yourself or explain your choices. You simply live your truth and let results speak for you. And that's what truly captivates people. The calm assurance that comes from self-trust. Quiet confidence isn't loud or flashy. It's steady, grounded, and powerful. It's knowing that no matter what happens, you can handle it. That's the kind of strength that doesn't fade. It only deepens with time. Habit has 3 boundaries that protect peace. A high-value woman understands that her peace is sacred and not everyone deserves access to it. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters. They separate what nourishes your soul from what drains it. When a woman sets clear boundaries, she sends a powerful message to the world. My energy has value. She knows that not everyone who wants her time deserves it, and not every invitation is meant to be accepted. The truth is, most people lose their peace not because of what others do, but because they allow it. They let guilt, fear, or the need to please keep them open to situations that disturb their spirit. But maturity teaches you that saying a no is not rejection, it's self-respect. Every time you protect your peace, you strengthen your sense of worth. Psychologically, boundaries create emotional safety. They help you stay grounded, focused, and calm. When you clearly define what you will and won't tolerate, people learn how to treat you. The woman who has boundaries doesn't attract chaos because her energy repels it. She doesn't argue to be understood. She simply distances herself from what doesn't align with her values. There's a quiet strength in walking away from what doesn't serve you. It doesn't mean you're cold or distant. It means you've learned the difference between giving and being used. You can be kind without being available to everyone. You can love deeply without losing yourself in the process. Boundaries protect that balance. When a woman guards her peace, her presence changes. She walks with lightness, free from resentment and exhaustion. People notice her calmness, her emotional stability, her quiet certainty, and they respect it. Because peace is powerful, and when you defend it, you teach others how to treat your soul. Boundaries aren't selfish. They are the highest form of self-love. Habit, hashful, consistent self-discipline. Discipline is the silent force behind every woman who truly respects herself. It's the habit that builds trust with your own soul. When you keep promises to yourself, you begin to move differently, with certainty, with purpose, with quiet confidence. A disciplined woman doesn't rely on motivation to move forward. She relies on commitment. She understands that consistency creates results long after emotions fade. Self-discipline is more than structure or routine. It's a reflection of self-worth. It's saying, I value my goals enough to stay loyal to them even when no one is watching. It's choosing what's right over what's easy. That choice, repeated day after day, shapes a woman into someone unstoppable. Discipline turns dreams into habits and habits into identity. From a psychological view, self-discipline rewires the mind for strength. It trains your brain to delay gratification, to resist distractions, and to endure discomfort. When you master discipline, you stop living by impulse and start living by intention. Every small act of consistency becomes evidence that you are capable, and that evidence builds confidence from the inside out. A high-value woman doesn't wait for the perfect time. She knows that every day is a test of how much she values her future. She wakes up with purpose, takes care of her body, feeds her mind, and protects her focus. She knows that her habits define her destiny. Her strength doesn't come from what she feels like doing. It comes from what she chooses to do despite the feeling. Discipline gives a woman quiet power, the kind that doesn't need to be announced. It shapes her energy, her aura, and her results. People may admire her confidence, but what they're truly seeing is consistency built over time. Because when you discipline your mind, your emotions follow, and your life begins to align naturally with success, peace, and power. Section 8 Habit Hash 5 Emotional Generosity Without Attachment. There's a rare beauty in a woman who can give without expecting, love without clinging, and help without needing recognition. That's the essence of emotional generosity, a maturity that comes from fullness, not from lack. A high-value woman gives because she chooses to, not because she needs to. Her kindness is not a transaction, it's a reflection of who she is. When a woman learns to give from a place of abundance, her energy changes. She no longer fears being taken advantage of because she understands that her power doesn't come from what she gives. It comes from the intention behind it. She knows that love is strongest when it's free, not when it's tied to expectation. So, the moment you detach from outcomes, your peace expands, and your heart becomes untouchable. From a psychological point of view, emotional detachment is a form of strength, not coldness. It means you no longer depend on others to make you feel whole. You can offer love, compassion, and care while staying centered in your own identity. That balance makes your energy irresistible because people feel safe around you. They sense that your presence is peaceful, not needy, giving, but grounded. This kind of emotional maturity doesn't happen overnight. It's built through experience, through lessons that taught you the difference between genuine connection and emotional dependency. When a woman masters this, she stops chasing love and starts radiating it. She gives freely, but she also knows when to step back. She understands that protecting her peace is as important as spreading kindness. Emotional generosity without attachment creates freedom. The freedom to love deeply without losing yourself, to give fully without resentment, and to walk away without bitterness. That's the kind of love that inspires, heals, and attracts effortlessly. Because nothing shines brighter than a woman who gives from strength, not from need, Habit #6 growth-oriented mindset. A woman who commits to growth becomes unstoppable. She doesn't seek perfection, she seeks progress. Every experience, every failure, every disappointment becomes a stepping stone toward wisdom. She doesn't run from challenges because she knows growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from pressure, from lessons, from the willingness to evolve. Her focus isn't on being admired. It's on becoming better than she was yesterday. A growth-oriented mindset transforms how a woman views life. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? She begins to ask, what is this teaching me? That single shift in perspective changes everything. She no longer sees pain as punishment, but as preparation. Every setback becomes a silent invitation to rise stronger, smarter, and more self-aware. Psychologically, growth-minded individuals operate from curiosity, not fear. They see failure as feedback, not finality. They understand that every person, every situation, and every obstacle holds a lesson meant for their development. This mindset removes jealousy and comparison because she's too focused on her own journey. She knows that real competition is not with others, but with the woman she used to be. A high-value woman invests in herself, in learning, healing, and evolving. Detachment makes you unpredictable in the best way, unshakable, independent, and self-contained. You can walk away from what doesn't serve you without resentment. You can stay silent when others expect a reaction. That kind of calmness confuses those who thrive on drama, because they can no longer control your emotions. This freedom transforms your entire presence. You start attracting people and opportunities that match your peace, not your pace, not your pain. You stop reacting to life and begin responding with clarity. Emotional detachment doesn't make you cold. It makes you wise. It allows you to stand firm in chaos, laugh without losing power, and move forward with quiet confidence. That is where true freedom lives, not in controlling everything around you, but in mastering everything within you. The power of boundaries. A high-value mature woman understands that boundaries are not walls. They are filters. They don't shut people out. They simply decide who deserves access to her peace, her time, and her energy. Boundaries are a reflection of self-respect. They say, I know what I will allow, and I know what I won't. And that clarity makes her presence magnetic. People who lack boundaries often confuse kindness with weakness. They give endlessly, hoping to be seen or appreciated. But when a woman sets firm boundaries, she no longer needs to chase approval. She creates a silent aura of authority, one that says she values herself too much to be treated carelessly. That's what makes her irresistible. She is kind, but she's not a doormat. She's giving, but she's not taken for granted. Boundaries create emotional safety. They allow her to give from abundance, not exhaustion. She knows when to walk away, when to say no, and when to protect her energy from those who drain it. No becomes more powerful than most people's yes, because it carries self-awareness and strength. And here's what most don't realize. Boundaries don't push good people away. They attract them. The right people feel safe around a woman who stands firm in her values. They respect her because she respects herself. That kind of energy demands maturity, not manipulation. Every time she enforces a boundary, she teaches the world how to treat her. And more importantly, she teaches herself that she is worthy of peace. Peace. She doesn't explain. She doesn't justify. She simply acts. Her silence, her calmness, and her confidence become her language. Boundaries are how she maintains her power in a world that constantly tries to take it. They are the invisible shield that keeps her focused, confident, and grounded. Because when a woman learns to protect her energy, she doesn't just survive, she thrives. And in that calm self-control, she becomes truly irresistible. Emotional intelligence, the silent strength. Emotional intelligence is the quiet force behind every mature and high-value woman. It's the ability to stay calm when others lose control, to respond instead of react, and to understand rather than judge. It's not about suppressing feelings, it's about mastering them. A woman with emotional intelligence doesn't allow chaos to dictate her peace. She observes emotions, both hers and others, with awareness and grace. She knows that people reveal who they are not through their words, but through their reactions. So she watches, listens, and learns. Her strength is not in arguing, but in understanding. When someone tries to provoke her, she doesn't fall into their emotional trap. She has learned that reacting out of anger gives away her power, but responding with calmness reclaims it. That emotional control makes her presence commanding without ever raising her voice. This kind of woman doesn't need to prove her worth. Her balance, her patience, and her depth speak for her. She can walk into a room and instantly shift its energy, not because she demands attention, but because she embodies peace. She carries that history as a crown, not a burden. Every scar, every failure, every lesson has shaped her into someone powerful, calm, and complete. And that's why she's irresistible, not because she's perfect, but because she owns every imperfect part of herself with grace and pride. The power of purpose. A high-value, mature woman is driven by purpose, not by approval. She wakes up each day knowing that her life holds meaning far beyond external validation. Her energy is focused, her actions intentional. She doesn't waste time chasing people. She chases growth, peace, and purpose. That inner direction gives her life a sense of clarity that few possess. Purpose gives her strength when others would give up. It keeps her grounded when the world feels uncertain. While others look for shortcuts, she stays committed to the path that aligns with her values. She understands that fulfillment doesn't come from being liked. It comes from living truthfully. And because she's guided by something bigger than ego or emotion, she moves with quiet confidence. This sense of purpose shows in the way she carries herself. Her words have depth. Her actions have intention. She doesn't just exist. She leads, even without trying. People are drawn to her because she radiates direction and meaning. There's something magnetic about a woman who knows where she's going and refuses to be distracted by noise. Her purpose is not always grand or loud. Sometimes it's as simple as becoming better each day, helping others grow, or creating peace in her space. But whatever it is, she commits to it fully. She knows that every step she takes with intention brings her closer to her higher self. And that's the secret. Purpose transforms her energy. It gives her a glow that no makeup can imitate, a presence that no trend can replace. It turns her from someone who seeks validation into someone who inspires others to seek their own meaning. Her purpose makes her powerful, steady, and unshakably attractive, because nothing is more irresistible than a woman who knows exactly why she's here. The art of femininity and strength. A high-value, mature woman has learned the art of balancing softness with strength. She knows that true power doesn't come from domination, but from harmony. Her femininity is not weakness. It's grace under pressure, warmth in chaos, and gentleness that disarms even the hardest hearts. She understands that she can be both nurturing and unyielding, kind and commanding, loving and firm. This balance makes her magnetic. She doesn't fight to prove her strength. She embodies it effortlessly. She moves through life with poise, calm in her emotions, confident in her choices, and unafraid to embrace her natural essence. Her strength is not in resistance, but in flow. She knows when to push forward and when to step back, when to speak and when to listen. That awareness is power in its purest form. Her femininity is her superpower. It allows her to connect deeply, to create beauty, to bring peace where there is tension. Yet beneath that softness lies unshakable resilience. She has walked through storms without losing her gentleness. She has faced rejection without bitterness, pain without losing compassion. That balance, that rare combination of tenderness and toughness is what makes her unforgettable. She doesn't need to outshine others. She simply shines. Her presence brings calm. Her voice carries assurance, and her eyes reflect wisdom. She is not trying to be the loudest person in the room. She's the one whose energy everyone feels without her saying a word. A woman who masters both strength and softness becomes unstoppable. She's not swayed by the world. She moves it. Her energy uplifts, her presence inspires, and her heart leads with quiet power. That is the essence of a truly irresistible woman. One who embodies balance, peace, and purpose, all wrapped in the graceful armor of her own beautiful strength.